Well, Bennett Kessler filed this following report. After some weeks of controversy in board meetings, the executive director of AMACA, Inyo-Mono Advocates for Community Action, Lynn Bethel, is gone. Now, as if Ms. Bethel were fired, AMACA board president Bill West said, quote, the board decided to make a change. Lynn Bethel is no longer an AMACA employee, end quote. West said the board almost unanimously voted for, quote, this change, end quote, and that was in a special meeting last Wednesday evening. Now, West said that he met with Bethel Thursday morning, and he said it was very amicable. We parted company. West said the AMACA board chose Human Resources Manager Jill Payton to serve as interim executive director while they renew their search. When Bethel, who is from Massachusetts, took the executive director job in September, agency officials were upbeat about the change. But former director Daniel Steinhagen's firing of a popular employee right before Bethel took over clouded her entrance. Steinhagen terminated Community Services Director Jane McDonald, who had started and built a strong garden program in AMACA, teaching the low income how to grow their own food. And more than a dozen community gardens grew out of McDonald's efforts, as did a host of admirers for the young woman's work. Now, as for a new director, West said the board will look. He said they had earlier had false starts with more than one person selected as director. West said, quote, there has to be a certain mindset to live here, and it's less money than in a big city, end quote. AMACA officials will also try to repair broken relationships regarding garden projects. Board President West said he would, quote, like to go back to our original intent, provide food for those in need, end quote. Now, in spite of personnel problems, West said AMACA moves ahead to fill food needs, and he did encourage donations to the AMACA Food Bank, which is currently low on goods. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this report. People in Mammoth Lakes still fret over the major budget cuts in town government, and some of those cuts are less obvious than the lack of police. Now, at last week's town council meeting, Jesse Baldwin, who heads up the Mammoth Lakes Contractors Association, stood up to say that town cuts make a real and tangible difference to contractors. He was worried about the town not filling a permit technician position. Now, Baldwin told how he had tried to get a permit to install a ceiling fan. He said the woman at the desk didn't know how long it would take and didn't seem to know what she was doing. That was November 21st. He made repeated visits that took up to an hour and a half and still no permit. Now, finally, Baldwin told the Mammoth Lakes Town Council 14 days later he got the permit. Baldwin had 2 points. First, contractors need faster action and more certain action on permits than his experience. Second, if there are time-consuming delays, unlicensed and unpermitted work will increase, and that can mean trouble. Now, Baldwin said in one past case, someone tried to install a circuit breaker without following the rules, and it started a fire. Baldwin said, quote, if there's not a go-to person, this is what will happen, end quote. Mammoth Mayor Matthew Lehman said that this would not be acceptable. He asked Baldwin and the contractors to wait 2 weeks to see if the town could resolve this problem. Well, the next Mammoth Lakes Town Council meeting is coming up on Wednesday. Well, let's get back into the holiday spirit. We'll take a look at the tree lighting celebrations in Bishop and Mammoth. We got some video, and Catherine Hurdle edited this piece.
Night before Christmas and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even the stockings were hung by the chimney with care in the hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there. He's bringing lots of toys for girls and boys, and wait until you see that Merry Christmas tree. So on, Dasher on, Dancer on, Prancer on, Vixen on, Comet on, Cupid on, Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the wall, to the top of the wall. He's coming to wish Merry Christmas to all.
everybody, and thanks again for coming out.
Say, how do you do? Christmas Day is here, the most wonderful day of the year. How would you like to be a spotted elephant? Or a choo-choo with square wheels on your caboose? Or a water splashing jelly? We're all misfits. We're on the island of unwanted toys. We'll miss all the fun with the girls and the boys. Christmas Day is here, the most wonderful, 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 wonderful day of the year.
Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, however green thy branches.
Well, we thank Catherine Hurdle for editing that holiday piece and bringing us some Christmas joy, and we'll be back with a weather report.